Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. So for today's video I'm doing something a little bit different. I'm going to do an anxiety and mental health related Q&A. If you don't know, I recently did a video where I talked about my anxiety, and that is the first time I properly opened up about having a mental illness, so it was quite scary, but I got a lot of positive feedback from it and it helped out a lot of people, which is exactly what I wanted, and that made me feel so happy that I could help you guys out. But I decided that I wanted to do another video about my anxiety, or about anxiety in general, so I asked for some questions on my Facebook and I'm going to answer them for you today. And also, please let me know if you'd ever like any other anxiety related videos or mental health related videos, or more personal style videos, if that makes sense, about stuff like this. Anything you want to see that's kind of chatty, advice, telling you my story, I don't know, just anything like that, let me know, because I think these videos are really great to watch and I think it's quite fun to film too. Okay, so the first question is from Hayden, and he asked, has anxiety ever made you feel like you were less than you were, even though you have so many achievements? Yes, definitely. It's not a very nice thing, anxiety, obviously, which I'm pretty sure everyone knows. It can do a lot of horrible things to you. Not only can it make you feel unwell physically, it can also obviously make you feel unwell mentally. When all of the anxious thoughts and feelings happen, sometimes it can make you think, why am I like this? Why does this have to happen to me? And it kind of makes you feel really low about yourself. Like, all you can think is, I'm controlled by this anxiety. I can't do anything I want to because it's ruining my life and it's affecting things. And I don't know, it just, a lot of the time it can make you feel like really low, and it can make you think that you are worthless, I guess, because you're constantly battling this anxiety, and it's horrible. And yes, it has definitely made me feel less than I am. I have had a lot of amazing achievements, especially over 2016. Even just through my life in general, I have had so many amazing memories and experiences and achievements, and I have worked really hard at a lot of things and done really well and should be very proud of myself. But a lot of the time my brain thinks, no, you shouldn't be proud of yourself because you're an anxious person and you're always getting worried about the stupidest things, constantly feeling scared and ill and stuff like that because of your anxiety, so you're obviously not that great because you can't even control your own brain. That sort of thing. Yes, that can definitely happen a lot to me, and I'm sure a lot of people who suffer with mental illness do feel the same. But anxiety does not define you in any way, shape or form. It is something completely separate. You have some amazing things that you've achieved in your life, or you've done, you've had some amazing memories. Every single person who is suffering, every single person in the world has had some amazing things happen in their life, amazing achievements. They've worked hard at something, they are worth something, they have done really well. Anxiety does not define you as a person at all, so please remember that. I don't know if that was good advice or not, but I sort of have to think of it in that way because it is not who you are. You have done all these amazing things in your life. You may be really happy with something that you've done, whether it's something large scale or something small, like you got out of bed today. I hope that answered the question properly. The next question is from Daisy, who asked me to give her a little shout out, so shout out to you, Daisy. Hello. And she said, do you ever get anxious when you meet famous YouTubers? To be honest, no, I don't think I've ever been anxious when meeting any YouTubers. As some of you may know, I've been to quite a few book signings and met some different YouTubers like Zoe, Joe, Casper, Joey Graceffa and a few others. And I've never felt anxious. I think I've definitely had a lot of adrenaline because it's like the excitement and normal nerves. Like, say someone who doesn't suffer with anxiety, they get nervous for normal things like doing a performance or an exam. This is sort of one of those things, the sort of normal thing you'd get nerves for, like meeting someone that you look up to. I never get bad anxiety from it or anything, or waiting to meet them. I've never been really anxious, like abnormally anxious. I don't know why. I don't know if it's a coincidence or I've not really thought about it because I've just been too excited. I don't know. I've never really been anxious meeting them, which I'm pretty happy about. Again, like I said, I've only had a few little nerves, but that's normal. The next question is from Hayley, and she said, what are the best ways / methods you found to help you stay calm? Now, this can depend on how I'm feeling. Some things will work sometimes, but then other times they won't work at all. So again, it just depends how I'm feeling, how anxious I am, or just what sort of day it is. I don't know. It depends completely. The same things don't work every single time. Sometimes I have to switch things up a bit. But the things I've noticed to work the most are to listen to / watch people that keep me calm. And what I mean by that is basically Zoella's anxiety videos. If I'm really anxious, especially at night and I can't sleep, I will put my headphones in and listen to those videos. And I know it sounds weird, but it actually helps me get to sleep. I think it's just her voice is sort of like a relaxing voice for me, and hearing her talk about anxiety sort of calms me down, reminds me that everything I'm feeling is normal and I can get through it and it will go away, and I just need to relax. And that definitely helps me. That's probably the main thing I do. If I'm really anxious, that's usually the first thing I'll do, is watch or listen to her videos. And I also use a couple of apps. Again, these are things that I kind of spoke about in my other anxiety video, which I'll link down below so you can go and watch that if you haven't already. It is quite a long one, but if you're interested, you can definitely go and watch it. But I also use a couple of apps, like I have the Calm app and also Relax Melodies, I think it's called. And they just sort of play calming sounds or music to keep you relaxed, and that can often help quite a lot. And mainly just trying to distract yourself. I've found a couple of times, especially over the last couple of weeks when I've been really anxious, seeing people, like spending time with some of my best friends has really helped. As I'm filming this, last weekend I spent it with some of my closest friends, and that honestly helped me so much. Sometimes you feel like you need to be alone when you're anxious, but other times you feel like you need to be surrounded by people that distract you from it. And that has definitely helped me recently. That has been the main thing that's sort of distracted me and calmed my anxiety, has been spending time with my best friends. And I find that that can really help. But again, sometimes you do need to just be sat on your own, in your room, in your safe place, just to relax. Again, for everyone, it's different. Everyone deals with it differently, and on different days you might have different coping methods that work better than other times. It's quite hard to say this will keep you calm and this will keep you calm, because you just don't know. Sometimes it might, sometimes it might not. But there are a few things that I do to keep me calm. Obviously it doesn't always work, because obviously some days I'm worse than others and it can be a big struggle, but those things have definitely helped me recently. The next question is from Jake, and he asked, how do you cope on your bad days, and are those around you understanding when it is a bad day? This definitely applies to the last few weeks, where it has probably been the worst it's ever been. I feel like I say that a lot, but it does seem to be getting worse. But I am getting help for it now, so hopefully things will be looking up from now, because it is getting pretty bad at the moment, I'm not gonna lie. And there are going to be times where it is pretty difficult to deal with and can be a lot worse than others. But again, there are ways to cope with it. And when I'm having my worst days, sometimes I just have to let it happen and just push through it. Just remember that it's not going to last forever, even though it sometimes feels like it is. Sometimes you think, this is never going to end. When is this going to stop? Because it can last for a long time, and you just think, am I ever going to feel normal again? But you do, and it does get better. Even though it's really hard to think that sometimes, it does. And the ways I usually cope with it, again, like the ways I discussed in the previous question, and also just remembering that I've had some pretty scary moments with my anxiety in the past, and I've managed to get through them and come out of them feeling better. And in terms of having people that are understanding, yes, I definitely do. Obviously my mom, she has had struggles with anxiety in the past, and she can definitely help me out with it. She's been there to remind me that this is all in my head, it's all my anxiety, and that's obviously helped me a lot. She's been super helpful with that. I've had, again, my close friends that have helped distract me from it. some of them who I will tell about my anxiety and tell them how I'm feeling, and they will like reassure me that I'm okay. I just have to remember all the positive things that I have going on in my life and the positive people I have, and that's what gets me through those pretty bad days. The next question is from Katie, and she said, how do you concentrate if you feel anxious about school exams? Again, this is something that anybody will feel nervous or anxious about, because that's the sort of thing that makes your nerves kick in normally, whether you suffer with anxiety or not. This is just one thing that will make a lot of people nervous. Obviously, for a person who is suffering with anxiety, it can be 10 times worse. As long as you know you've put the work in and you've revised, then there's nothing else you can do. So there's no need to stress about it. I know that it may seem like it's the most important thing in the world. Yes, your exams are important and you need to try hard and do well, but if you don't do well, it's not the end of the world. There are other options. And I know it might seem crazy, like say if you wanted to go into like being a doctor or a nurse, you're going to need some pretty good grades, and if you're struggling with those and you're not getting the best grades, it's not the end of the world. You've got time to work on it, and there are other options to help you achieve what you want to achieve. It's not going to define your life. If you fail an exam, it doesn't mean it's the end of the world and you can't do what you want. There are definitely ways to do that, to work on what you want. As long as you are working really hard at what you're doing, that's all that anyone could ever ask for. Don't over revise or don't overwork yourself, because that will just not help at all. Make sure you're taking regular breaks and taking it slowly, not trying to cram everything into your brain at once, because that just never helps. That will just make things worse. So just take your time with it, do it at your own pace, and I can assure you that you will do amazing. The next question is from Em, and she said, do you think mental health is made too taboo, or do you think people use it falsely for attention? Now, this is really hard to answer, because you'll never truly know whether someone is making their anxiety up or if they're actually suffering, because of course you don't know, you don't ever truly know what's going on in someone's brain. I feel like there has been a lot of speculation about this, especially with like YouTube and stuff. A lot of people will make videos about their anxiety and will get slated for it because people just assume they're copying Zoella, for example, or they think they're following the trend. Some people, yes, they might do it for views and they might just do it for the attention. I don't know. I could never say for definite, because I don't know what's going on in everyone's brain. But obviously it is a possible thing. If people are that shallow, then okay. Bit weird if they do that, because why would you do that? Why would you ever want to pretend you had something like this? It is horrific. I wouldn't wish this on anyone, so why you'd act like you had it when you don't is just weird. But yeah, it's quite a hard one to answer, because you never truly know what people are thinking, but I suppose it could happen, and it's a shame that that could possibly happen, and that people who do have anxiety and are open about it will worry that people don't believe them, because I bet that happens a lot, and that probably makes people more scared to talk about it because they feel like no one's going to believe them, or they think they're just doing it for attention. And I have heard a lot of stuff about that, where people talk about it and just everyone assumes they're faking it, but not everyone is. Maybe some people are, I don't know, but it's quite difficult, because it is, a lot of people have started to become more open about mental health, definitely partly because of people like Zoe who talk about their mental health, and it makes people feel more open and more confident to talk about it themselves and sort of understand what they're going through, and it's kind of a coping method for a lot of people, so I feel like that's why so many more people are being open about it. The same with like a lot of people's sexuality. A lot of people have started coming out more on YouTube, and a lot of people again think it's for attention. I feel like YouTube and social media has helped a lot of people in that sense, because they feel like they can be more open about it, and it is one way to get across their feelings, and it can help a lot of people, so it's quite a hard one to judge. The next question is from my lovely friend Franny, and she said to talk about my mental health story if I feel comfortable, and like sort of how I found out it affected me, my first panic attack. Again, I feel like I talked a bit about this in my first anxiety video, so again, go ahead and watch that if you want to. But yeah, my mental health story, I'm not going to go into it too much because I pretty much explained a lot of it in that video. But like how I found out it affected me in like my first panic attack, I can't remember if I mentioned that in the previous video, so I will just quickly talk about that. I'm pretty sure the first one I can remember was, I think, when I was booked in to go and have a blood test, and I think I just panicked. I don't know why. I'm not scared of needles or anything. I think it was just the thought of there being something wrong with me. Again, because my anxiety is based around health. That's sort of like the main part of my anxiety. Obviously there are other things that go on, but health anxiety is my main struggle. So I think it was just that sort of thing, like thinking there might be something wrong or having to go to the doctors because I have a fear of the doctors. And I remember sitting talking to my mum about it, and I felt like I couldn't breathe, and I felt like I was gonna be sick or faint or something. And I don't remember it too well, but I remember the next day she was talking to me about it, but it was kind of a blur. I don't always remember exactly how my panic attacks go because, I don't know, my brain doesn't like to remember it, I guess. But yeah, that was probably the first panic attack I can remember. I may have had some before that, I don't know. But yeah, my anxiety story is quite long, as you will see from the previous video that was like 38 minutes long, I think. But yeah, go ahead and watch that to sort of see more of the story of it. If you want an updated one like how I've been recently, or again just another video about my mental health in general or something else personal, just let me know. I'm just worried about repeating myself too much in this video. The next question is from Ben, and it is, being a performer, how does anxiety affect you? In terms of performance, that's where my anxiety affects me the least, which is weird because performing is one of the things that any person would feel nervous and anxious about, whether they suffer with anxiety or not. To be honest, anxiety doesn't really affect me in terms of my performing. I think it's kind of my escape and where I spend time with a lot of people I love because I'm performing with a lot of my friends and doing what I love because performing is one of my biggest passions. And it's never really affected me. Obviously I've had some nervous feelings before going on stage like anyone would, and sometimes I've felt anxious in general whilst doing a rehearsal or leading up to a show, but never purely because of the show. I've only ever had normal nerves. Again, it's kind of like the whole meeting YouTubers. It's like having the normal nerves that anyone would. It's strange. It's kind of like the opposite. When I should be calm and relaxed, that's when I'm panicking. When I should be nervous, I'm more relaxed. It sounds weird and probably doesn't make a lot of sense, but luckily it doesn't affect my performing too much. There are times where it does a little bit because I'm so like anxious and maybe it's made me feel unwell, but in general it never really affects it. So I'm very lucky in that sense because it's something I love to do. Although anxiety does still get in the way of things that I love doing. And the final question is from Teresa, I'm not sure how to say that. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing that terribly wrong. And she asked, do you ever think it may affect you or others around you in the future, such as while you are working / performing, relationships or having children, things like that? It could do, but at the moment, like I said, I am trying to get help for my anxiety. Like I've been going to the doctors, I am currently going for therapy sessions, so hopefully I will have it under control before it gets to the future. Hopefully this year I will be able to learn to control it better, and I mean it's probably never going to fully go away, but I'm hoping by then I will have learnt to control it a lot more and I won't let it ruin my life as much as it does at the moment. It is kind of a worry at times, especially when I'm feeling my most anxious. I think to myself, how am I ever going to go and achieve my goals, like go and audition for things or go and move away somewhere in the future? How am I ever going to do that when I'm feeling like this? Because I just can't cope. Which is what anxiety makes you feel like. It makes you feel like you can't cope and you're never going to be able to do anything. Unless I work on getting it sorted like I am now, it definitely could. It's just something you have to work at, and you have to tell yourself that you can get better and that you will do better and you don't have to live with this your whole life. If you keep telling yourself you're never going to get better, then obviously your brain's going to think that you're never going to get better and you're going to struggle with it a lot longer. Obviously it's hard to be in the positive mindset that you are going to get better, but I think just realising that you do need the help and you do need to get it sorted is the best thing, because that is a way for you to stop worrying about it, and then hopefully within the future it will be a much smaller problem and you'll wonder why you ever got so stressed about it in the first place. Yes, it takes a lot of time. I've learned that from experience. I've been suffering with this since I was probably about 11, but again, I've probably been anxious my whole life, like since I was a child. It takes a lot of time, but if you keep working at it, when it gets to that point in the future where you're thinking of having a family or getting a big job, I don't know, depends what you want to do in the future, hopefully it won't affect that if you work on it as soon as possible and tell yourself that you are better than this and you know that you can work on it and you know that you can overcome it. So many people are suffering with the same problems as you are, and so many people have overcome them and have gone to lead a normal, happy, lovely life, and if they can do it, then you can do it too. Okay, so that is all of the questions answered. I really hope you enjoyed this video, or it helped you in any way. If you did enjoy this or it did help you, please give it a big thumbs up and please share it, because if it helped you, it may help someone else, or you may know someone who's suffering with anxiety that might just need something like this to cheer them up. So yeah, don't forget to like, share it with your friends, and comment down below any more anxiety related questions that you'd like me to reply to in the comments, or if you want me to make another anxiety Q&A video, or like I said, any other anxiety / mental health / personal related videos, any videos on a certain topic you want me to do. It can be about anything. I want to start making more videos about different things that I've not really done before, so maybe more personal topics or anything like that. Let me know, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel if you haven't already, because that would be amazing, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!